If you had told me 10 years ago that I would be sitting here with 11 children filming a YouTube video, I would have laughed at you. But here I am, and I'm here to tell you once again, I have made every mistake in the book. So today I am pulling back the curtain on 8 things that have flat out not worked for me at all in my journey through motherhood. And these are not just things that I have read about. They're not things that I heard someone say. These are things that I have lived, things that have cost me, and things that I wish someone had sat me down and just said, Ashley, do not do it this way. So this is my journey through motherhood, and I'm not going to pretend that it has been perfect. I have learned a lot along the way, and most of that has been trial through error. So if you are a mother who is tired of feeling like the day is running you instead of the other way around, stick with me, because some of what I'm about to share is probably going to hit close to home. So I am Ashley Buffa with Vocational Homeschooling. This channel is primarily focused on homeschooling, but today I decided to expand into something broader because I think that there are some things that need to be said about motherhood. So this is not about homeschool at all, really. This is really about motherhood and running a home that does not make you feel like you're losing your mind. So the home, the children, the standard, the daily execution of what it actually means to steward this calling well. So if you are an intentional mother, or you really want to be an intentional mother, then I hope that you will stay, and I hope that you will hit subscribe. So before I get into those 8 things, I want to mention something quickly. I put together a free resource called the Motherhood Execution Checklist, and it is a 1-page weekly tool that is built around 4 standards that determine whether your home runs well or falls apart. So I'm going to talk about it more at the end of this video, but if you already know that you want that, the link for it is in the description. It's totally free, go grab it, and it will really change how you look at your week and how you approach your week. Okay, so the 8 things that have just not worked in my journey through motherhood as a mother of 11. So number 1, not having a structured routine. So I am not a naturally structured person. I really am a kind of person who kind of flies by the seat of her pants, and it just does not serve me well in motherhood at all. I don't achieve the things that I want to achieve, not only in my home, but also with my children when I'm just winging it. And I was lying to myself for many, many years, thinking that I actually was really good at, just flying by the seat of my pants. But turns out I am actually capable of accomplishing so much more when I have a structured routine. I do not mean a rigid schedule where every single minute is accounted for. I mean more of a framework. It's a shape to the day, something that tells you and your children what comes next. When I didn't have that, the day really just happened to me. I was reactive from the moment my feet hit the floor. The children were restless because nobody knew what was coming next. And I was exhausted by noon because I had been putting out fires all morning instead of just running a plan. So a home without structure is really not a peaceful home. It's a loud one, and the noise is not just from the children. It's from the chaos of a day with absolutely no direction. So I'll say more about this when I get to point 7, but structure is really not optional in my home anymore. It is actually the foundation now. So point number 2, losing my temper and yelling. That it's obvious. None of us wants to be the mom who loses her temper and who yells. Like no one sets out to be that mom. It's hard to talk about, but I'm going to talk about this anyway because I think that there are a lot of mothers that are living with guilt over this one, and no one is saying it out loud. Yelling does not work. And I don't mean that it is an imperfect solution. I mean it actually just flat out does not work. It does not produce the behavior that you are looking for. It does not correct the children. It usually either scares them, or it hardens them, or teaches them that the way to get what they want in life is to get louder. So what I have learned is that yelling is almost always a sign that I let something go for too long. I didn't correct it in the moment. I let it slide once, twice, maybe even 10 times, and then I exploded. The yelling was not the problem. The yelling was actually the symptom. So the correction that happens calmly in the moment is the answer every time. And we're going to talk about that more in point 4. One thing that I want to tell you really quickly that helped me get past yelling, because I know that a lot of moms struggle with this, is I would imagine that my pastor's wife was standing beside me throughout all of my day. Now, I don't know about you, but if your pastor's wife is actually standing beside you, are you going to yell at the kids? Are you going to explode in anger? No, you're not. You're going to actually behave the way you're supposed to behave, which means if your child is doing something that he or she is not supposed to do, you're going to go correct it. You're not going to say it 5 times and then get frustrated, right? So imagining that your pastor's wife is beside you all the time, that for me was what I needed to get that under control. Okay, moving on. Point number 3, not having better screen standards. So this one I really wish that I had gotten ahead of earlier. Here's the thing. Screens can be useful, okay, but they have to be intentional. Screen time without a standard, with no standard whatsoever, it's not neutral. It is shaping your child. So it shapes their attention spans. It shapes their ability to sit with boredom and their capacity for imagination and their relationship with your voice versus a screen. So I'm not here to tell you that screens are evil. We do use them in my home intentionally, but I will tell you that handing over a screen without a clear standard attached to it is something that I have lived to regret. When I got intentional about what the standard was, when the screens were allowed to happen and for how long, what they were watching, etc., everything really shifted. So your screen standard really is a stewardship decision. So you need to treat it like one. Mistake number 4, a child-led home. Now, this is kind of a buzz right now, but here's the thing. Proverbs tells us that foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child. That is not a suggestion. It is actually a diagnostic. If foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child, then you cannot hand your child the wheel and expect to arrive somewhere good. Your home needs to be parented, period. That does not mean that your children have no voice. It means that you have the hand on the wheel and you are taking your children somewhere. You have a standard, you have a direction, a purpose for the day and for the home, and your children are not developmentally, spiritually, or practically equipped to carry that. But you are. So when I started leading my children as a mother with intention, instead of just responding to whatever my children wanted, everything changed. The children were calmer. The days actually took shape. There was peace where there had been noise, and because children actually feel safe when someone is in charge. The children do not really want to be in charge. Well, maybe the oldest daughters do, but most children do not want to be the ones in charge. They want to know that you are. However, when mom or dad is not stepping up and being the parent, well, the child feels that vacuum and they feel like they need to fill it. So child-led homes are not the way to go. Okay, mistake number 5. This is the last philosophical one, I promise. Number 5 is emulating Lady Folly instead of Lady Wisdom. So Proverbs gives us 2 women, Lady Wisdom and Lady Folly. And I want to talk for a minute about Lady Folly because she is the one that I think is more familiar with most of us, if we admit it. So Proverbs describes her as loud, but it goes deeper than that. She lacks discretion. She's given to gossip. She is far more interested in what is happening in everyone else's house than she is in taking care of her own. So she's at the door, she's looking out, she's watching, she's talking, she's consuming while her own home goes unattended. Does this sound familiar? Because let me tell you, ladies, this is exactly what scrolling through Instagram looks like. You are standing at your door watching everyone else's highlight reel while your own home is waiting for your attention. Your children are waiting, your standard is slipping, and Lady Folly has your phone in her hand and she's handing it back to you every time you reach for it. Lady Wisdom is different. She is building her house. Proverbs 14 says that the wise woman builds her house, but the foolish one tears it down with her own hands. Lady Wisdom is not distracted by what everyone else is doing. She is not consumed with other people's methods, other people's homes, other people's decorating styles, or other people's opinions. She is building, she's working, she's inside her own house, paying attention to her own people. So the question is not just who you are following on social media. The question is which woman you are becoming while you are on it. Are you building or are you tearing down? Are you being sharpened by wise women with proven lives and real fruit? Or are you sitting at the feet of Lady Folly, undiscerning and distracted, while your home waits for you to come back to it? It's time to close that app. It is time to go build your house and build up your children. Okay, let's get to the practical mistakes. Mistake number 6, and this is a silly one. It's a simple one. Too many clothes. So this one sounds so simple, but it really was a game changer for me in the laundry department. So I think I started doing this when I had around 5 or 6 children, and I had the hardest time keeping up with the laundry because each child had at least 14 different outfits. Now, granted, most of them came from the thrift store, which is totally fine, but they had too many clothes, which meant that I could put off doing laundry sometimes even 2 weeks if I needed to or if I wanted to, okay? Because there was always another outfit. There was always something else to pull from the drawer. And so it piled up until it was completely unmanageable. When I realized that if I cut back to fewer outfits per child, it would actually force me to stay on top of the laundry, I jumped into it. I got rid of so many clothes. I probably overcorrected too much. I went down to actually 3 outfits per child, not including church clothes. That was crazy, but I felt like I needed something crazy to wake me up and get me into better laundry habits. I would not recommend that you go down to 3 outfits per child, but 5 to 7 outfits really is the sweet spot. For me in my home, I really do have to do laundry every single day, but keeping it still, I did this back when I had 5 kids, so that was 6 children ago. That was a long time ago, and I've kept this habit. 5 to 7 outfits per child. Now, the older kids, they have more clothes, but because I have to stay on top of it for the younger children, it still really works well. So if you are struggling to find a good laundry rhythm, let me suggest you cut back on how much you have. You need a daily standard, and a daily standard is sustainable in a way that twice a month laundry marathon never, ever is. So fewer clothes is really not about minimalism for minimalism's sake. I'm not a minimalist at all, but this is a system. It forces the rhythm, and in my home with 11 children, rhythm is everything. Okay, mistake number 7 is not having a morning sequence. So this is one that I feel super strongly about because I have seen what it costs and also what it produces. So when I did not have a morning sequence, which was a set non-negotiable order to how I ran my mornings, I lost the morning. And when you lose the morning, you spend the rest of the day trying to get back what you gave away in that first hour. So the morning is where your stewardship is either established or it is surrendered. Every single day. And most mothers, unfortunately, are surrendering it before they even realize that it is happening. So some of the ways that this happens is no set wake time, no sequence, just reacting to whoever surfaces first and whatever need is the loudest. What I know now is that the morning does not have to run you, but you do have to decide that before your feet hit the floor, that you have a sequence. The same order, the same standard every single morning, and that is what sets the tone for everything that follows. So this is actually something that I go deep on in that free checklist that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. So if your mornings are where your day starts to fall apart, then that checklist is really going to help show you exactly where. So don't forget that the link for that is in the description. Okay, number 8, not training children to carry responsibility early. And yes, I am talking about chores. I could go back and do one thing differently. It would be this. I waited way too long to train my children to carry real responsibility in the home. Children really are way more capable than we give them credit for. A 3-year-old can put away clothes. A 5-year-old can set the table, a 7-year-old can sweep the floor, a 10-year-old can make a meal. But if we never teach them how to do that, never hand them the work and hold the standard for how it gets done, then we are doing everything ourselves and we're wondering why we are exhausted. Training children to carry responsibility is not just about getting extra help in the home, although it's extra help. It is about raising children who understand that a home is something that should be stewarded together, not just by the parents. And that work is dignified. Their contribution matters. They're important to the family. Remember, children are not just guests in the home, they are members of it, so they should be contributing. It is so much better to start earlier than you think because younger children actually really enjoy doing chores, in my experience. And I do have a lot of experience in this area. But you do have to hold the standard for how that work gets done. And you do not take it back when they don't do it perfectly. You correct them, you show them the proper way, and then you move on. Okay, so those are the 8 things that have not worked in my own motherhood journey. And if even one of those hit home for you today, then I want you to do something with it this week. Not next month, but this week. Now, I want to go ahead and come back to the free resource that I mentioned at the beginning. It is called the Motherhood Execution Checklist, and it's completely free. It's a 1-page weekly tool that is built around 4 standards: starting the day on time, following through on your day, correcting in the moment, and finishing what you start. You use it at the end of each day to tell the truth about what actually happened. Yes or no. You don't get partial credit here. And your score at the end of the week tells you exactly where your stewardship is holding and exactly where it is slipping. So if anything I talked about today resonated with you, the morning or the correction, the structure, the standards, this checklist is the tool that makes it practical. So that is in the description below. It's free. Go ahead and grab that. And if you want to go deeper on the morning, specifically why it keeps going sideways and exactly what to do about it, I do have a short course called How to Execute Your Day Without Slipping by 10 a.m. It's 5 short videos. There's a companion workbook that goes along with it, and it's only $19. That is also in the description. I'm so glad that you were here today. And if this video helped you, share it with another mother who needs it. Leave me a comment below and tell me which one of these 8 hit closest to home for you. I would love to hear it, and I will see you in the next video.